Good evening, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is an exploration of the idea that freedom can be found in failure sometimes. It sounds strange, and maybe you disagree, and I disagree actually. Pretty strongly disagree with this one, but a lot of people believe this, and they think that you have to fail at something sometimes to be released from it. Okay, I'm going to give a couple of examples of people saying this and why it's just not true. For example, in the song by Churches, the band Churches, I'm a big fan, first of all, Lauren Mayberry and the whole band, which has stopped making music together at this point, but I like all the stuff of theirs that I've heard, pretty much all of it. And there's a song with the lyrics that go, there's freedom in failure. And if you're familiar with the band and their subject matter, the content, and I don't know exactly where all these lyrics originated from. I'd like to think that Lauren wrote them herself, but I don't really know, honestly. In any case, the idea that freedom can come from failure is misguided. It's misguided, provably, actually. And I understand the sentiment, I do, that you should not necessarily trust something that you don't understand or can't control. And this is a common theme in a lot of music. There's another example, but in a song by Garbage, it's an older band from the 90s. They made a lot of good music as well. And there's a line that goes, never trust something that you can't break. It's the same idea, it is. So it's more about the people who would be perhaps at risk or vulnerable to a newcomer or a new idea or whatever, if they cannot dismantle it first. So there's sometimes a barrier to entry imposed by a club or a group or a person as a requirement for anything to gain access. Now here's the problem. The problem is, even if everything could be dismantled, which it cannot, there is not even necessarily always something to be gained from doing that. Because consider, like, here's another example, a third example. A lot of car dealerships, this is going to be kind of a jump, but a lot of car dealerships omit their pricing on the lot. And they can do that sometimes. They can hide the pricing or just not put up any pricing and make people ask about it, with the idea behind it being people won't be scared away from high prices. But here's the thing, exactly the same idea. On the same token, you're not necessarily attracting people who are in the price range. Here's the thing, right? Yeah, well, I can afford that. It's just as compelling if they perhaps have the resources to do that kind of thing. So erring on the side of an expectation of failure versus erring on the side of an expectation of success. You have a choice to make. Everybody has a choice to make. So failure is the common denominator here. So that connects my analogy. But one more example. When you expect success, it multiplies in your field of vision. When you expect failure, the same thing happens. So either way, you were right. And on a long enough timeline, you're going to get some confirmation bias. You're going to congratulate yourself for being right either way. And you're going to solidify, you're going to crystallize that perspective, whether it's optimistic or if it's pessimistic. You're going to be right every time you choose to focus on failure, to anticipate first the worst case scenario versus the things that could possibly come out of it as a reward or a success, right? I like to expect success first. I like to err on the side of cautious optimism. Cautious, yes, but categorically an expectation that things are more than often going to work out in my favor. Because otherwise I'm admitting, first of all, that I'm no good at stuff. And I don't want to do that because it's not true. So last thing I'll say is freedom from failure is misguided in one last way. To block everything that must fail before it gets in, you're expecting people to be their own inspiration every time. You're expecting them to never have anything to believe in that's greater than themselves. You're expecting that failure is the better example, making them look good by comparison, making it a comparison categorically every time. But what if people can just be inspired by somebody who is good at something, who's adept at something, and who doesn't necessarily need to be taken down, or can't practically be taken down in some realistic way. What then? You just block everybody who's a friend, who's good at stuff. I mean, I'm being a little bit vague, but maybe you know what I'm talking about. Reach out if you can with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.